Well, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome back. Appreciate you guys stopping in and joining me today. Have a few things I want to talk about today. First thing I want to start off with, as you can see, repping John Cantrell. Got the Iron Man hat on. So big, massive fight we have coming up. We have a fight coming up on December the 13th. It's going to take place in Topeka, Kansas, at the Stormont Vail Event Center. So if you're in the Topeka area, Kansas City area, check it out. I know tickets, John purposely kept tickets affordable. I think tickets run $15 and $30. I do believe so. Shouldn't be too expensive to have the whole family come out and enjoy an awesome night of fights. I do believe we have 13 fights, I do believe, on the card, and the last 4 fights are all title fights. So it's a stacked card. IBF is flying in from New Jersey. ABO will be there. It's a sanctioned fight. I'm super excited. We have some stars that are going to be in attendance. We have a whole table full of Chiefs legends. We have I'm going to have Struggle Jennings and Caitlin Curtis at my table. Goated, God above all things every day. The company's going to be in the house. They have a table as well. They have a booth there as well. There's a VIP after show going on. We also have another gentleman named Alex that bought a table, and I'm not going to tell you who might be at his table, but just you don't want to miss it. That's for sure. So that's that. I wanted to highlight that. So if you're in the Topeka or Kansas City area, come check us out, guys. It's going to be an awesome night, action-packed night, full of fun, and I'm super grateful and blessed and honored to be a part of it, and to be helping John and to be by John's side and helping him go through this. And it's been a big blessing to me and my family as well. So super excited. So moving on. So I talked a lot about habits, and I want to go back to habits because I'm big on discipline, but discipline and habits, they go hand in hand. Discipline leads to habits, and what your discipline is going to be the reflection. So if you really want to know how disciplined you are, look at your habits. Count how many bad habits you have versus how many good habits you have. And how do you change a bad habit into a good habit? Or how do you get rid of bad habits and turn them into good habits? I often say you hang around 5 millionaires, you're going to be the sixth, and it's not because they're going to give you money. That's not the reason why you're going to become a millionaire. You're going to become a millionaire because you're around these people. You understand the way that they think. You start adopting their philosophies. You start adopting their train of thought. You see their hustle. You see the work that it takes to get there. And so you naturally start shifting and molding and turning more into like a millionaire. And money is usually the thing that comes last, but you're going to have the habits of a millionaire. You're going to have the discipline of a millionaire, and you're going to have the work ethic of a millionaire. And so eventually what that's going to lead to is you becoming a millionaire. That's just the way that works. You have to understand who we are as humans. We like to fit in. We don't want to be the odd me out in places that we go. Sticking out like a sore thumb is not human nature. We naturally want to be a chameleon. We want to fit in. We want to be in a group and feel like we belong or feel like we are accepted, and we will do some crazy things sometimes for that acceptance or to feel like we belong. So you have to be very cautious and careful on who are your circle of friends? Who do you call in the time of need? If you're in a pickle, who are you calling? If you get in a fight with your spouse, who are you calling? What kind of advice are you actually going to be getting? Think about that, and look at the people that you're closest to, the top 2 or 3 people in your life that you're close to, and look at their life and how they live their life. Is that a life that you want to live? Are they glowing? Are they respectful? Are they energetic? Are they enthusiastic? Are they all those things? Because that's honestly that's what I'm attracted to in this day and age. And it started a while back for me. Is I want some enthusiasm. I want some excitement. I want some positivity. It's a crazy, mean, rough world, and I already know that. We all understand that. But I want to be excited. I want some positivity. I want some enthusiasm. And there's no reason, in my opinion, that you should go through life as every day is just the next worst day. So I try my best, and I'm not perfect at it, but I try my best to just be positive and, be thankful and be blessed, be humble, and walk that way. So how do you change a bad habit to a good habit? Well, let me give you a couple tips. And a lot of this, what I'm referring to is I had a friend, Josh Ball, shout out Josh Ball. I mentioned him a couple times on here, but Josh Ball recommended I read the book Atomic Habits. I'm working on my third time through. I became obsessed on the chapter 13 on my third time through. So a lot of what I talk about on the habits is from this book specifically. A phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal book. I know a lot of you probably have heard of this book. Some of you guys probably already read it. But James Clear wrote this book. It's not a new book. It's been around for a while, but a phenomenal book. So a lot of what I'm referencing, if not all, what I'm referencing is from this book. But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So one of the biggest things, so they did a study at the University of Florida, a photography class, and they split these people up into two different groups, and they're supposed to get the perfect picture. That was the goal. Well, one group was tasked with quantity over quality. Like, hey, we want you to get a couple A pictures, but we also want like a couple B pictures, some C pictures, some D pictures. We just need picture, 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 picture. So all they were tasked with doing was taking as many pictures as possible. Well, group B was tasked with quality. So they were tasked with, I only need one picture, but it needs to be perfect. It needs to be an A++ picture. And so they go out and they come back, and I can't remember how long the study was. They had like a week or something. They had some time to go get these pictures. And they come back, and the first group had a bunch of pictures, and a lot of them were extremely high quality pictures. They had a lot of A's and a lot of B's, like just a lot of really good pictures, a lot of really cool pictures. Group B had like a C picture. That's all they could come up with because they were too busy brainstorming and stuttering on the fact that, well, it's got to be perfect. Well, the lighting's off here. Well, this is off here. And so they were too cautious. They had to be perfect. Sound familiar? So how many times, and I'm guilty of this, myself, is, sometimes I catch myself what I call and what he calls being in motion. And instead of taking action, there's a difference between being in motion versus taking action. So being in motion, some examples would be if you're going to create a podcast, you start thinking, okay, well, I think I need this lighting. I'm going to order this mic, and I think I have my background figured out. That's motion. You're actually not accomplishing anything, but the fact that you're brainstorming on it, it gives you that satisfaction, like you are taking steps towards your goal. But in reality, you're not doing anything. You're just in motion. You're not taking action. You're not ordering the lights. You're not ordering the microphone. You're not sitting in the room doing recordings to see what works versus what doesn't work. You're not in action. There is a massive, massive, massive difference. And for the longest time, I was stuck in motion. I had all these great ideas, but I didn't have, let's just call it what, I didn't have the balls to do it. I didn't have and my excuse was always, well, I have a wife and kids and they're relying on me, and which is actually a valid excuse, legitimately. When you have people relying on you, it is a valid excuse. But at the same time, it's not a valid excuse. You've got to believe in yourself and trust in yourself and your capabilities and what you can accomplish, and go take the leap of faith. Because I'm going to tell you, it's a scary leap, but man, it's a rewarding leap. It is an absolute rewarding leap. And I can promise you what's on the other side of that door is nothing you're expecting. This wasn't what I was expecting. I had all these plans. We moved to Florida. We had a specific plan in place when we moved to Florida. That plan has changed. I couldn't tell you how many times. It's all been for the better. It's all been for the best. Trust me. But I'm just saying, what we had planned for and what we had thought out versus the opportunities that were provided and the paths that were open and the door, two completely different things. And we're still living our best lives. Everything changed and we're still living our best life. But you can't be stuck in motion. Another example would be, if you're trying to write a book, and all you think about is, or you've thought about like, oh, I have another idea for the next couple chapters, but you don't write anything down. You haven't even started your book. You just keep brainstorming all these chapters. You're just in motion. You're not accomplishing anything. But yet you're going to sit there and think that you're doing like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm thinking about this book I'm going to write. I'm really trying to get it organized so I can start it. No, just go start your book. Go take some action. Take that step forward. Is it starting to make sense what I'm trying to say? So there's a big difference. And the other thing is, when you're trying to develop great habits or good habits, you have to make it easy. Make it easy on yourself. So pick a gym that's close to your house. Pick a gym that's on the way to work. Pick a gym that's on the way to your kids' practice or whatever. Pick a spot where you're already going by it, or it's close by. It's not too far off where you need to go. Because if you go order or buy a gym membership and you got to drive 30 minutes out of your way to go to this gym, you're more than likely you're not going to stick to going to the gym. When that motivation dies off and you're tired and you're sore and you have to drive 30 minutes one way to go to the gym, you're probably going to stop going to the gym. But when you're on the way to the office or on the way to your kid's school or whatever the case may be, whatever you got going on, you're going to feel guilty for not just pulling in the parking lot and going to get your lift in like you're supposed to. So discipline will be, you're more apt to be disciplined in that scenario than you are if you have to drive 30 minutes the other direction. It's like some of the cleanest people I know are some of the laziest people I know, but they have systems in place. When I say lazy, I mean they like to hang around the house when they're home. They don't want to sit around and clean. They're busy. They're hardly ever home, but yet their house is immaculate. It's because they have a system in place. And even in the book, I chuckled when I read it because I've heard this before. Where instead of saying, I'm going to clean the room, or I'm going to clean my room, or I'm going to clean my house, it's just reset the room when you're done in the room. So if you're in the living room and you're done watching TV, you put the remote back on the stand, you fold the blanket, you put the pillows back, like you reset the room. You don't clean, you reset the room. So we're humans, you have to manipulate your own mind. And so you just say, I'm going to reset this room, and it sounds different than I'm going to clean this room. And so the motivation and it's all different. We're weird. We're wired very strange. And once you figure out the way it operates, it helps. If you have a really bad habit, like you're addicted to your phone, you're addicted to your TV, social media, whatever the case may be, separate. You're not going to be able to, like I have a Bible app on my phone. I have a Bible app on my phone, and it gives me the verse of the day, and I can go read the whole chapter, and I can do Bible study off of it. And there were times when I was, on my vacation where I had to use my app. And, I had my Bible with me down here, but I used my app just because sometimes I wasn't near where my Bible was. There was a day we were in Spain. I was nowhere near the Bible. So I sat down at the park and I just used my phone. That wouldn't work for me very often. I couldn't tell you the amount of notifications that this thing just doesn't stop. I have things muted. Everything's muted because if I didn't, I couldn't even get through this video if I didn't. It's that's just not, long-term wise, that's a bad idea for me. That's an idea where I have every intention to do some Bible study, but then I see all this stuff coming through and I start like, and now I'm not even focused on my Bible study because I see it just wouldn't work. I leave my phone, I just go set it in the living room. It doesn't even go in my bedroom. Okay. My phone stays in the living room on my stand next to where I sit on the couch. That's where my phone charger is. I don't even take it to the bedroom. When I go to the bedroom, that's my one-on-one time with my wife and to go to sleep. Nothing else. I don't do the scrolling, the watching the videos and stuff. No. But that's my way of separating. If my phone was on my nightstand next to where I sleep, I don't know that I wouldn't just grab it. Like if it's just sitting there. but I leave it all the way in the living room. It's like, yeah, I'm not getting up to go get my phone. There are times I'll be laying in bed and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to do this, or I meant to look this up. And it's like, oh well, I guess I'll do it tomorrow. Like, I'm not gonna get up and go get my phone. So it's kind of like the idea in the book is, if you watch too much TV, unplug the TV when you're done watching it, because the fact that you have to get behind there and plug it back in will prevent you from watching TV. I mean, you have to really, you're going to want, I'm not saying you won't do it, but I'm just saying, like, if you're bored and you're, oh, I'm going to turn the TV on real quick, I don't want to get up and plug it in. I'll just figure out something else. Like, we're lazy as human beings. And just that one little thing will help a little bit. Now, it's not going to cure it. I mean, if you really want to watch TV, you're going to get up and go plug it in and watch TV. It's just the way it's going to be. If you're really, really bad about it, he recommends just turn your TV off, unplug it, and go put it in the closet. That way, the next time you want to watch TV, you have to go grab the TV out of the closet, go set it back up, plug it in. And so, like, you're really not going to want to do that. These are just little ways to start separating yourself. And you have to make it easy on yourself. Don't make it hard on yourself. It's easy to eat healthy when all you have is healthy food. It's hard to eat healthy when you mix in the junk food with the healthy food in your cabinet, in your fridge. It's hard. You're naturally going to snack on the junk stuff and still going to try to eat the healthy stuff, but you're still going to eat the junk stuff for sure. And you're going to try to eat the healthy stuff because you're trying to be healthy, trying to be healthy. And that's why I talk about like the Ozempic thing. Like, guys, you're never going to get me to say, okay, yes, Ozempic's a great weight loss drug. You're never going to get me to agree to that. You're just not. I was talking to a gentleman the other day. He used to be 362 pounds. When I was talking to him, he was 241. And I was asking him, and it's taken him about a year, but he's lost 120 pounds in a year. And he works out, lifts, he does boxing, doesn't actually compete, but he trains. He just trains the boxing because it's a great, great cardio workout. And he eats healthy. He told me, he says, I quit buying, I don't even buy chips. I don't, a lot of bread. My wife makes sourdough bread. We don't buy store-bought bread. They got away from buying a lot of things from the store and going healthy, going more organic, going more herbs, spices, things like that, and meat. And these guys lost 120 pounds. And you're going to sit there and tell me on Ozempic that, yeah, you lose 100 pounds, but from what? How did you lose 100 pounds? What did Ozempic do to your body to cause it to lose 100 pounds? What were your habits while you're on Ozempic? And I have still yet to see somebody use Ozempic and look decent. They look like a shell of themselves. They look like just frail and fragile. Like, they don't look healthy. And it just irks me. It irks me that we have people that will legitimately sit there and not see a problem with a weight loss drug. Like, guys, we're human beings. If you want to be fit and in shape, you're going to have to eat healthy and you're going to have to move. That's just all there is to it. There's no other secret sauce. That is the secret. You have to eat healthy and move. And eating healthy is not what you envision. It's not the Atkins diet like it was when I was a kid, or eating a bunch of salads and stuff. And oftentimes salads are not healthy. Like, you've got to do your research on what you're eating. Okay? Like, I always tell people, you go to the grocery store, stay on the outside walls. Very, very few things in the middle are healthy. Most of that stuff is processed, engineered food, which we are not designed to eat. Our bodies are not designed to digest a box of mac and cheese. It's not designed for that. There's a lot of things in a box of mac and cheese that you should not be having in your body. And, I guess you can call me a hippie or whatever you want to call me, but I don't believe in mass food production. I think that's very, very dangerous. I think what they have to do to make that work is extremely dangerous, and it's very unregulated. They have regulations, don't get me wrong, they're very regulated, but they're not regulated in the sense that, what are they allowed to put in the food? In the United States, we don't regulate that very well. When I went to Europe, the food not only did it taste different, but it just looked completely different. It didn't even look the same. Their meats didn't even look the same. Their vegetables looked way brighter, way more vibrant. Here we douse all of our stuff with spray, to keep the bugs off of them, the fertilizer spray to help it grow, and all these things. Then we eat it. There, you're not allowed to do that. It's water and sunshine, honey. That's it. If your stuff don't grow with water and sunshine, well, sorry. Guess you're not talented enough. Like, you're not allowed to all these fertilizers. You're just not allowed. Like, their cow, like, the milk tasted different. The milk looked different. And people, I was talking to people, I don't have necessarily, thank God, I don't have the issue of being really lactose intolerant, but there are people that if you're lactose intolerant, you can go over to Europe and drink milk, because here in the United States we use, and I'm not a farmer, so I'm not going to get into the lingo of it, but basically we use steroids or something of the sort, supplements to help produce more milk, to help produce more faster. Boom, we just got to get it. It's all about quantity. And in doing so, there's things in our milk that are not in milk over there. So the milk you're getting over there is just raw cow milk. That's just what you're getting. Like, there's no, or goat milk. They have all kinds of stuff over there. They have milks that you probably don't even want to drink. they eat and drink some weird things over there compared to what we do. I say weird, but it's out of the norm from us. But what I'm telling you is it's raw milk. That's what you're drinking. It's milk. And when you go to the grocery stores over there, like, you go look at their breads and you look at the ingredients, it has like 4 ingredients. There's a whole thing. You go to ours, like, there's a whole little thing of things in our bread. But over there they have literally, flour, water, just the basics of what you need for bread. My wife, fortunately, I married somebody that just is an amazing cook, amazing baker, all the things. So she makes our bread. And she'll make white bread, sourdough bread, and it's still the same thing. She uses like 4 or 5 ingredients. Takes a little bit of time and a few ingredients, and that's it. But you go to the store and it's just loaded with stuff. It's like, why? Like, why are we doing that? They'll tell you, oh, it's for shelf life. Oh, it's for this. Well, maybe we shouldn't be producing food like this if this is what we have to do to it for it to stay good. So, and that's the other thing, when you go over to Europe, there are markets upon markets with another market around the corner. Like, they have so many different farmers markets, vegetables, things like that. Being disciplined enough to eat healthy is a huge, huge part of long-term survival. And, I talked to a couple of people on the cruise boat that were obese. They were miserable. One guy couldn't even tie his shoes. And I was talking to him, and he had a plan in place and was starting to execute that plan even on the cruise boat to try to start dropping those pounds. He was sitting there telling me, he's like, man, I should have done this so long ago. I don't know why. He's like, it just seems like it's like climbing Mount Everest. It just seems insurmountable. I was like, well, it's probably understandable, but you at least got to start chipping away at it. And I'll tell you, you're gonna have to worry about your health. You can either worry about it now when it's in your control, or you can worry about it later when it's out of your control and now your back's up against the wall. Either way, at some point you will have to worry about your health. I promise you. It's just a matter of time. And I didn't realize all the corruption with our food up until about 2 or 3 years ago. And I got very upset, very angry. I went down some rabbit holes, and I've since kind of came out of the rabbit holes, but I just have a general understanding. Like, listen, this is a very corrupt business that they run. It's kind of like a pharmaceutical business. It's very, very corrupt. And so I told my wife, I said, I don't know what we can do about this. We're only us. But man, how can they get away with this? Like, there's something we can do, but I still have yet to really find that out. But what we can do, but yeah, it's like all this ADHD that we have in our society. Well, they put stuff in children's drinks and in Gatorades and stuff that literally cause ADHD, scientifically proven. But yet we flood our drinks with that and we give that to our kids, and then we wonder why they have ADHD and why it's such a big deal in this country now. But then they have prescription medicine to help with the ADHD. So they give you something to cause it, then they give you something to try to fix it. Which brings me to my next point. It's like, you remember those companies like Thrive and stuff that are no longer in business? It's like these companies, like, they, like, I think, what's the big, what's it called? The toxic stuff. We can do like a flush. You can like flush your body out, right? It's like, so they make all this food that poisons your body, but then they sell you a flushing kit to get all the stuff out of your body. So then they sell, you get what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is such a scam. Like, it's a scam. Eat healthy and move. There's your solution to your problem. There's no drink. There's no gummy. There's no. And I don't want to hear anybody's excuse that I don't have time. You mean to tell me you don't have time for yourself? You mean to tell me you are so busy you can't invest into your own self, your own being? You don't have 2 hours in one day, every day, to go invest into yourself, into your being. I don't want to hear it. And you have to be accountable, and it sucks. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just being honest with you. And you got to take that into your own hands and quit relying on all these makeshift products that tell you, take this and you'll lose this much weight and you're going to feel this much better, and getting through your days are going to be so much easier. Yeah, they are easier when you're healthy, when you're eating right and you're moving, you're active. Yeah, you feel fantastic. It just irks me. It'll never stop. I know it'll never stop. But I guess when you educate enough and you see it from a different lens, you're like, man, that's insane. That's insanity. It's insanity that's even a business, that people actually support that people believe in that people actually think that that's a good idea, that that's a good option. That's insane to me. But anyways, back to my habits thing. You have to make your habits easy. Incorporate whatever you're wanting to do into your current routine that you already have. You don't have to rewrite the book. You don't have to get too crazy. Just, if you want to start working out, and I'm going to talk to people that maybe don't have a gym close by. So maybe you have to start setting some time aside to do some in-home workouts. You're going to start doing body weight. You're going to do push-ups, dips, air squats, wall sits, things like that, right? There's plenty of stuff you can do at home to try to get yourself kick-started and get into better shape. And you'll actually notice a difference as well. But anyway, you need to write it down. I want to work out after I wake up and brush my teeth. Perfect. Write that down. Say that out loud. Read that out loud to yourself. Okay? And then start waking up, brushing your teeth, and doing the workout that you set out to do. Write your workout down. Write out exactly what you want to accomplish. How many sets, how many reps, and what are you doing on what days? Line yourself out. Don't wing it. Make your schedule, because when you write it down and you say it out loud, you are then, if you don't do it, you're going to feel really, really guilty to yourself, because you're going to feel like you let yourself down because you put in all this work to set it all up. And what you're going to find over time is, being healthy, working out is the fun part. The eating part sucks. And it shouldn't be. In Europe, it was easy. You could eat a lot of things in Europe that you can't eat here. But again, to my last point, they just put a lot of stuff in the food here that it derails it from being healthy. But over there, you can eat a lot of things. But anyways, if you're trying to incorporate reading and doing Bible study and stuff, you have to write it down into your schedule. What time of day precisely are you going to accomplish this? And when you do it, what are you going to accomplish? Are you going to read 10 pages? Are you going to read a whole chapter? What are you going, like, how much? You have to treat it like you're talking to your 3-year-old self. Like, you have to literally line yourself out. Write it down, say it out loud, read it again, and you'll notice a difference in your execution level on it. But try to keep them as close to the same as you can. Like, don't reinvent the wheel on this stuff. If you try to do that, it's too much change. Our bodies don't adjust to that very well. You drop off, you fall off. And, I tell people, that are just starting their fitness journey, just do the fitness portion. Just start there. Get into the habit and the routine of getting up and going to the gym and lifting. Just start there. Don't even worry about anything. Just keep eating what you're eating, drinking what you're drinking, and incorporate the routine of working out. Because what happens is once you develop that habit and that discipline, so I'm going to go to the gym, you naturally start like, you know what? I think I really want to do this. And then you're going to start like, I'm not going to eat this anymore. You'll start cutting stuff out naturally. Like it's just, it kind of comes with the territory. And if you don't, I would say, you know, after a couple of months of going to the gym, you need to start taking a look at what are you eating at that point. You got to develop the habit first, though. You got to get into a routine and make it just part of what you do and who you are. And then you can add to it, but don't start your diet, exercise, and all this on the same day and think you're not gonna do that. That's not gonna work. There are some people that can, but these people are experienced. They're veterans and they've been doing this for a while. My guy John Cantrell, that dude, he does 75 hard for a living. Like he just, I don't know. He is, you know, 1 in a million, whatever you want to say. Like most people aren't like that. He enjoys doing things that suck. He enjoys doing things that are hard. Like he enjoys that. Not a lot of people can say that and actually mean it. I know I can't. Doing stuff that sucks and hard sucks, and it's hard. So, you know, naturally, I don't want to do that. He is wired differently, which is why he's doing what he's doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing. But what I'm saying is, you have to be real honest because most people are like me. You know, naturally, you're going to try to take the path of least resistance, right? That's how we are wired, and so you have to really analyze. Here are my options. What makes the most sense for long-term success, for longevity. And, you know, for the Johns of the world, he can go to the extreme side and be okay. People like you and I, not so much. We need to take it step by step. Let's get some things incorporated, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. I couldn't even tell you the last time I missed a mind, body, and spirit day. It's been a long, long, long time. And, you know, I don't necessarily post about it as much because I feel like I'm just posting the same thing over and over and over and over. And I'm just telling you guys, mind, body, and spirit. That's the habit that if I'm recommending anything, I would recommend those habits. Do mind, body, and spirit. If you can master that, your whole world is going to change. I promise you. And it's euphoric. You'll know when it happens. It'll hit you like a ton of bricks. The clarity. That's what I would recommend. So anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode of the podcast. I just want to talk about some habits, pairing up habits with your, you know, current habits, making your habits easy, and taking action instead of just being in motion. All valid points with scientific research to back them up. Also, I think all those points are I know they're all in the Atomic Habits books. So highly recommend, if you have not read the book, to go read the book. I like to read physically. I don't like reading. Like I told you, I try to do everything I can off of my phone because I do spend a lot of time doing business stuff on my phone. So I try, you know, I got notebooks and journals and everything's like hard copy stuff. So I can set that thing down in a different room and focus and do what I want to do and do what I need to do. So that's what I would recommend. You guys do as you see fit. I just understand who I am as a person, and I squirrel. And I know that about myself. So I try to eliminate all distractions, at least as many as I can. But yeah, that is it. Today will be the last episode in the studio for a little while. We leave on Saturday to go to Topeka, Kansas for the fights, which is happening again December 13th. So we're 9 days out. I just have to go early and get everything nailed down and buttoned up. And I think I got everything buttoned up down here in Florida. So now we'll go there, get to the venue, get everything set up, going, all the good stuff, get the weigh-ins knocked out. So I'm super excited. Very grateful, honored, humbled, all the things to be involved. And if you're in the area, come out and support. Absolutely come out and support us. it's honestly probably gonna be your last time being able to watch John Cantrell anywhere near Topeka, Kansas for a while now. After this, we're on to some stuff. We're on to some big stuff. So come out and support him while you can. You know, we're never gonna forget Topeka. We're never gonna forget where we started, where he started, where he came from. But we're going to go make a difference in this world. We're going to go spread God's glory throughout the world, and that's our mission, and that's what we're going to accomplish. So if you guys want to come out and support that, would greatly be appreciated. Look forward to seeing you guys there. Take care of yourself. Be disciplined. Take care of your family. Be strategic. God bless. Talk to you guys Monday.